will be the start of the building of the welding cart for my Millermatic 211. Right now I got it on a Craftsman table, just kind of threw it up there instead of put it on the floor, and then have the bottle kind of strapped to my bike. So it's not very mobile, but it's working for now. So I did a freehand sketch. I'll maybe insert that here in a few minutes, but also want to try to put it into SketchUp just for, if anything else, just to practice it. I did it for that table there, and it was kind of fun, learning experience. But it's nice to have, so I will do that as well. So I have already quite a bit, I don't know, 12 to 15 foot of 1.25 inch. Little piece back there, and then another piece right there. That's how I decided to use 1.25 inch for most of the framework. I may decide to use some other type material, but that is 2 inch for my welding table, my old welding table that was going to be, and that thing is a beast. So for the weight of that, I think it's 30 something pounds, plus maybe a plasma cutter down the road and a bottle. I think 1.25 inch will do just fine. How do I know? I don't know, but give it a shot. I do have, I think this is 1 inch there. My metal rack is 1 inch and holding up quite a bit of weight. So I think it'll be just fine. I'll probably just create the base first. Going to measure some things up, the width of the welder and so on. And I'll probably make it just a little bit wider than the welder. I don't want it very wide. You can see I'm already cramped up here, but eventually all this will be cleaned up. Yeah, right. So I did a quick little sketch up, measurements, just based upon experience and dimensions of this cart, the dimensions of the welder, and the dimensions of my TIG welder. So kind of wanted to keep a consistent theme, if you will, depth, width, all that kind of stuff. So this is what I came up with. Basically it's going to be 34 inches deep or long and 17 inches wide, and the back, this will be where the tanks sit, so a crossbar right at 10 inches here, and so that's the overall footprint of the cart that I'm going to build. I did have concerns that might be a little bit too narrow, or yeah, too narrow, but this cart here is basically 18 inches outside width, and it's very stable. I think it's 36 as well, so roughly about the same exact dimensions of this cart. I think I'm going in 1 inch. So there's that, and I'm not really sure about the height. I'm gonna probably bring it anywhere between the height of that table, like the welder may sit on top here, and between there. What I do want to do is have the welder, another shelf, and then a bottom shelf. The middle shelf could be eventually used for a plasma cutter if I ever get one. So kind of have that ready. So yeah, that's that. That's all I can think of at the time. Did measure up the bottle. I have a 80 CFH bottle now. That's a 125, which I plan to go up to eventually, potentially. So I think those are roughly 7.5, 8 inches wide. Just plenty of space to put one bottle. I can maybe squeeze in two, but I don't ever think I'll have the need for two. So I've got about 9.5 feet of 1.25 inch. I think it's 10 gauge. And then I have another smaller piece, well, yeah, maybe 3 foot over there of 1.25 inch, but it's a little lighter. I don't know, doesn't, not sure the thickness, but using my little Miller handy dandy thickness gauge, and it's a little thinner, so I think it'll be fine for a brace or something that the outside frame will be all the thicker stuff, and then maybe use that as a brace. So originally I had concerns about using 1.25 inch, or is it thick enough, but in reality that cart right there is, I think that's 1 inch frame material and just simple sheet metal in between, and it's pretty damn stable. So as long as I design it right, this table will be more than sturdy. Just a quick little note on these bandsaws. I always kind of struggle to find how to accurately align this to 45 or whatever degree you want to cut at. So basically, pull a piece of TIG wire or something up against it, and then you should be able to see, yeah, right there. It's pretty much spot on. I'm hard to tell, but I usually eyeball it that way, and it gets you close enough. Just a quick look at my cut. These are the long sides, if you will. So I measured 34 inches, and I think the first one came out about 1/8 of an inch too long, so I just kind of backed up. The other one, used the first one to help measure the second one. You can see it's pretty close. That's as good as I'm going to get it, that's for sure. Absolutely love that saw. Almost as much as my welders. Here's my fit up before I tack it. Paid a little extra attention. I'm used to TIG welding, so I went ahead and cleaned all the mill scale off, did some grinding, got the rust off, got it probably cleaner than it needed to be, did some acetone, a little bit of fuzz there. This isn't square back yet, on the back yet, but so yeah, want to see how it makes a difference on MIG welding. For one, I understand it still needs to be somewhat clean, just not as clean as TIG. So that's my look before I tack it up. So I'm going to try to do most of this build, if not all, on my MIG welder. I have a 220 outlet. I think it's a 60 amp service for my TIG machine, Syncrowave 200. When I got the machine, it had this type plug. I think it's called a crowfoot. This is slang, obviously. Not sure what type of connector. And the connector for the 220 service for the Millermatic is this, I guess, standard style. Obviously won't fit into there. So I went back and forth on what to do. Potentially, and it's a little confusing, but potentially I'm going to set up a 30 amp, another plug, so I can have them plugged in. Can't use them simultaneously, but can plug them in, leave them plugged in if I want to. So all of that is to say that for the most part, I think I can do everything that I want to do on this cart on the 110. So got it kind of plugged in over there. 110. Fire it up. I started using the auto set a little bit, and it's probably me, but just couldn't get the right. I mean, it looked okay, and then kind of started trying to manually adjust, and I think I'll start doing that a little bit more frequently instead of the auto set. But it was very nice to quickly get up and running.